Hey everybody, welcome back to the couch for episode 46, week 46 of the Hey Everybody podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in and for hanging out, and thank you to everybody that chipped in last week. I really appreciate that. It functions, let's call it 3 different ways when you contribute to the podcast. By the way, no pressure to contribute to the podcast. I just want you to enjoy it. Maybe get something out of it. Awesome. But when you do chip in, it does all 3 of these things. 1, it feeds the family. Much appreciated. 2, it encourages me to keep doing the podcast. You know, when you see people paying for something, you go, oh, that must really mean something to them if they're paying for something they could get for free. I'll make another one this week. And 3, as I venture back out into the world of live music with some new ideas about how I want to engage in that and what kind of shows I want to play, it's easier to make what I feel like are the right decisions if there's a little bit of money coming in from the podcast, because then I don't have to go like, I don't want to play that show. I don't think it's going to be a good show, but I need that money, you know? And I know every job has that sometimes. But this is a weird job because it's one of those jobs that, like, the way I feel about it that day affects the quality of it, which might be true for all jobs, but I think you guys know what I mean, that, like, jobs in art and creativity and sort of opening yourself up to people, you have to be in a certain headspace for it. And it's hard to be in that headspace when you're playing a 4-hour set at a bar where nobody cares. So, all of you that are contributing to the podcast, I really appreciate it. And I want you to know that it's more than just contributing to a podcast. It's making my music life better. I think it's making my writing better. Because when you're writing songs knowing that, like, when I play this for people, it's going to be in this kind of setting, you write differently, and I personally feel like I write better. So, thank you for chipping in. Thanks also for being decent human beings, which I have to assume you are, because you're watching this. Yesterday, I had to go to Walgreens to pick up a Father's Day card for my dad. And I'm still wearing a mask when I go out in public, just because it just feels like the thing to do. It feels like the right thing to do. I want people to feel safe and at ease around me always. And as a 6'1" man with tattoos on my neck, I've always been kind of dialed into, I need people to feel comfortable around me, because sometimes that might not be their first impulse. So I'm wearing a mask, you know? It's not a big deal. I don't go anywhere for longer than 10, 15 minutes, so I pop a mask on. And Walgreens still has signs up that say, yo, wear a mask. You go in, all the employees are wearing masks. Anyways, let's make this a short story, because I have a longer one to tell you. I get into Walgreens, I'm in the card aisle, and I'm looking at all the cards. And there's, you know, I could do that hack comedy bit about I was there for 10 minutes looking at every single card. You know, what's the right card for me? That kind of thing. But I won't. I'll spare you that too. And about halfway through my epic journey through every Father's Day card they had, this woman, I would have eyeballed her at about 60 something. She comes around the corner, no mask on. I turn because a human being has entered my field of vision, and we make eye contact. And she sort of, not snarl, just like, you know, just, he's wearing a mask. Not a big deal. I don't care. I've been doing a lot of work on myself, and I wouldn't be able to say that that work had been effective if I was going to get riled up by a stranger making a face at me. I'm past that. So I kind of go back to my cards. I'm looking at all the cards. She comes down the aisle and stands like kind of behind my left shoulder here. And she's too close. like even in a pre-COVID world, too close. Even if a friend of mine was standing that close, I'd be like, guy, can you back up a little bit? Like, we're almost touching. What's the deal? There's a lot of aisle here. Scoot it back. And then she starts like clearing her throat, sort of coughing, whilst looking in my direction. And here comes the curse of all this. I can't do a thing. Like, even if it was a man, I would be going, oh, if I engage, then I'm engaged. And if I engage, like, this person has already demonstrated a kind of willingness to get into it. And if I engage and encourage that, how much further into it do they want to go? And I have no interest in brawling with someone in a Walgreens parking lot, because that's the gentleman's code. We'll go outside. But when it's a woman, I got nothing, you know, because I got nothing. I know there's nothing to say to her that won't inspire some more action. And I don't want more action because this can't escalate at all. What, am I going to yell at this old lady? Am I going to fight this lady? No. So if I had a pen on me, I would have grabbed a sympathy card and just written "sorry you suck" in it and handed it over my shoulder. But I just ignored her, which I think bothered her more than anything I could have said. And then, sort of proving to me that she was there to bother me, she left the card aisle without ever touching a card or buying a card. And the card aisle is not a place you go, you know, and tour. You're there to do a job. You get your card. And she didn't. She was just there to bug me. And it's funny now, but it took a toll on me then, just living in a world where, like, what's your problem? I'm not saying anything to you. You're clearly doing something different than what I think is the right thing to do, but I'm not engaging you. What's your deal? And of course, her deal is that somewhere deeper, she's unhappy. There's a comedian named Pete Holmes, and he has a much longer bit about getting a parking space stolen from him. But the main takeaway is happy people don't steal parking spaces, and happy people don't sort of shove their masklessness in your face, and happy people certainly don't feel aggressed by you making a personal choice about what you're going to wear. So, I mean, if there's comfort, it's there. And comfort was in short supply this weekend. Let's have some coffee. And let's tell another story. Last year, about this time, a company called Recording King did a songwriting contest. And I'm a fan of their stuff. For a long time, I played one of their guitars. I played it so much that it, you know, I had to move on. And my banjo was made by them. So I'm a fan. And a year ago, they did a songwriting contest. They're going to give away a guitar if you win this songwriting contest. And I felt pretty confident. I feel like I got songs. My biggest stress was like, which song should I submit? And I submitted a song, and they do the results are live on YouTube. So you tune in, and me and Tori are crowded around my computer, and we're waiting to hear my name. They do a top 10 and then a top 3. And the top 3 win things. And I entered last year feeling reasonably confident, and I got smoked. I didn't even get top 10, and I didn't handle it well. It devastated me, which is why I don't do those kind of things. I don't engage in that, because I don't make the things that I make to win things or to even be acknowledged in that way. The acknowledgement I'm looking for is from a small crowd of people that are connected to my music and would like to hear it. So I generally avoid contests and battles of the bands, and even pursuing awards. I can tell you a longer, funnier story about how I both intentionally and accidentally really alienated an organization that gave me an award once and have never done it since. But we'll save that one for another day. Cut to a year later. Recording King is having their contest. I become aware of it, and it's designed for me. The prize pack is a guitar I've wanted for a long time, like a style of guitar I've wanted with a smaller body. They're punchy. It's nice for finger picking. I won't bore you. They're also including the kind of pickup that I use. They're including a DI and a custom case. They're basically saying, hey, Chris, this is everything you need to play a show. This is destined for you. And I thought about it for a minute, and I went, I've done all this like work on myself, that like my self-esteem is not going to be caught up in this contest. So it's safe to enter, because I'm not saying, is this song good? I'm saying, do you like this song enough to give me a free guitar? It's not going to affect my feelings about it though. So I enter a song called A Couple More that I'm very proud of. It's one of my more recent things, and I love that song. It just feels good to play it. And they announced that they're doing the results live on YouTube again. So Tori comes home from work, we gather on my computer, we're watching it, and I'm going to confess something to you that you're not supposed to confess, because in my line of work, you're supposed to project success and you want to look cool. And I'll tell you, I felt confident going into this. I felt assured. I just felt like I felt something in here like, this is for me. This is meant for me, I think. And I've never really won anything like this. I've never really been acknowledged in this way. But this is my time. And I admit, I bought a guitar strap because that was the only thing that was missing from the prize pack. I'm like, well, I'm gonna need a guitar strap for my new guitar. And this is gonna be my live rig for the summer. It's gonna be awesome. So we sit down, and they're gonna do the top 10 and then top 3. And I got smoked. Didn't even make the top 10. One of the people that did make the top 10 stole some lyrics from a song called Better Man by a little band called Pearl Jam. But again, longer conversation for another day about plagiarism. Didn't even get mentioned. And I handled it poorly. I did not succeed, because the goal was to win this guitar. But the secondary goal was to prove to myself and the world around me that I'm solid, that I know who I am and what I'm doing, and I'm not here to be toppled by your opinion of me. And it did not go that way at all. I was devastated. I was everything you'd think. I was frustrated, I was angry, I was sad. I felt like a loser, and I kept saying it out loud, like to Tori. I was talking to Tori, and I was like, I'm a loser. It's not working. It's never gonna happen for me, and I'm a loser. And she was great. She was very comforting and nice. And eventually it starts to come back around, like, why did I write that song? Did I write that song because I was hoping to trade it in for a free guitar? Did I write that song because I was hoping to make some money? Did I write that song because I wanted to be known or famous? Like, no. That song, like all of my songs that are worth a damn, I wrote it because I didn't have a say in the matter. I had to write that song. And I might as well hope that you like it because it's here now. But I had to, and I did. And I'm proud of it, in as much as I feel any ownership over it at all. But it was hard. It was hard to feel that amount of confidence and just feel like I was doing what I was supposed to do. And I realize now, maybe I was doing what I was supposed to do, but maybe what I was supposed to do is lose this contest. Because I had this brief thought of like, you're constantly feeling these fleeting feelings of like, I should quit. It's not working. No one cares. Or maybe you have the thought of like, I should spend all of next year on the road if I can, which has been a frustration of mine. It's been real hard to get on the road and, either find a band that wants to tour or find people that want to book me as a solo act. It's been really tough. And at one point I said out loud, I just want to quit the music business. And phrasing it that way didn't make it feel sad. It felt good. I do want to quit the music business. I want to write songs and I want to perform them for people. I want to travel around and tell people stories and sing them my songs and see their town and meet them and their friends. I want to make records. I want to write things and I want to do podcasts. But that's not the music business. I want to quit the music business. I don't want to be desperate to be found or discovered. I don't want to need someone's approval. I've never in my life met someone that I thought like, oh, I wish that person would manage my career. I wish they were in charge instead of me. You know, I've never met someone that I thought, oh, I wish they had a really big say in how my next record's going to sound. Or I wish they could control what I can do creatively. There's things I would still love to do. Like I would, you know, if a booking agent came along that said like, hey, I think we can help, and it was a good fit, I would love that. If a record label, it was a good fit, I would love that. But the idea of pursuing that at the expense of how I feel about my work, I'm done with that. There will be hard times, I'm sure, and I still have feelings, and I still feel like a failure sometimes, and I still feel like a loser sometimes, and I still feel like all kinds of things. But in my most assured moments, in my most certain moments, in my most, I'm Christopher goddamn Gold, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm gonna raise this kid, I'm gonna love this woman, I'm gonna play this music, and in those moments, I don't hem or haw and go, oh, I hope it's good enough. I hope the judges like it. I don't go, oh, I wish someone would give me permission to do this or that. I just look into the world and am confident of my place in it. And those moments are short because I'm racked by anxiety and self-doubt. But I'm gonna quit the music business, I think. I was thinking a long time ago about Oliver, and he has been talking about wanting to be an architect for a long time, and I think that's pretty cool. And that means college and all that stuff, and that's cool. But I was having a conversation with someone, and I said, you know, if Ollie goes off to college and becomes an architect and makes his millions, that's awesome. Good for him. But if Ollie becomes that guy who grows a beard and moves out to Colorado and lives in a little ski town in a 1-bedroom cabin, and maybe he makes like hand-carved bears out of driftwood and he sells them to tourists because that's what he wants to do, that would be awesome. If he made 20 grand a year and smiled every day of that year, that's what I want for him. So why don't I want that for myself? It's what I want for you. It's what I want for Tori. But when it comes to me, I'm a loser and I'm failing because I'm not on a label, or because I'm not on tour, or because I didn't win that guitar. But I got songs that I could play you, and I could tell you honestly, this song matters to me. And occasionally people tell me that they matter to them too. And I should be so lucky as to have that be the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And I hope that it is. And if there's growth, that's great. But if there's not, it's going to be hard. It is hard. But the goal is to keep bringing it back to, how do you feel about that song though, dude? Don't worry about how 4 people you've never met judged your song. How do you feel about your song? And how do you feel on the rare occasion that you get a message from someone else that needed that song? I don't talk about it because it feels not humble, but I've gotten a few messages in my life from people that just said something about how one of my songs hit them, or the timing, and it just, I never signed a record deal, but it can't feel that good. You know, I've never won a free guitar, but it can't feel that good. And I need to do a better job of remembering that. So, I hereby quit the music business. That said, my band practiced last week. We're going to play some shows. It's going to be fun. I'm playing some solo shows, some band shows. Everything's outdoors at the moment, which I feel good about. And I would love to come play at your house. So hit me up. In the meanwhile, I'm going to play you a song. And it's the right song for today. Because this is not an award-winning song, and it's not a technically impressive song, but this song is mine, and I wrote it because I had to, and it's called Smoke, and it goes like this. I'm gonna burn this place to nothing. You can help if you want to. It's as good a place as any to have a dance with you. We could spin there on the ash heap. We could build us something new. Used to say this place took my best years, and part of me would never leave. But in the music and the smoke, well, these embers will bring me peace. I reach for you one more time, but I won't let go again. And in the morning when the smoke is gone and the flames surrender to the wind, we'll rise up with the dawn. We won't come back again. When we speak of how we burn that place down to the ground, it'll be with all the joy that frame wouldn't allow. 'Cause there was something in that house that only fire could let out. And I hold you like it's the first time, 'cause this time it really is. Tell no tales of what went on, of what happened here where things went wrong. Just put it to bed, just let it rest. I let it fall to the ground from my hands and never hold it again. And there in the smoke, we could just take off, catch a current on the breeze and just be gone. 'Cause if I am a ghost, there's something wrong. And I've been haunting this place now for long. On the record, that song is 6 minutes long, and it ends very big and very loud, and then kind of decays into this noise. And a 6-minute song about burning a house down isn't going to win a ton of awards, and I'm going to keep writing them. So, let's do some recommendations. Let's get you out of here. Let's get weird. Let's get stoked. Let's talk about rock and roll on the podcast today. Up first, this band is called 68, and this record is called Give One, Take One. 68 are a two-piece, guitar and drums, and they play kind of bluesy but very rowdy rock and roll. They play riffs, and I love it. The singer for this band, his name's Josh Scoggin, and he's never made a record I didn't like. He has released records with no less than 4 bands or names, and I have loved everything. He's made at least 10 or 11 records that I think are phenomenal, and this is his latest one, and it's phenomenal. And I don't know when he wrote this. This record came out in March, which makes me think it must have been recorded way previous to March, which makes me think it must have been written way earlier than that even. And yet, the song The Knife, the Knife, the Knife has the lyric, "I'll take a pulse over perfection because that's all that I want. We got the vaccine so the disease cannot shake me, Lord." Woo! It's good stuff. If you want to party, if you want to get loud, listen to 68. Up next, this band is called Japandroids, and this record is called Celebration Rock. And they are another two-piece with guitar and drums, and they are fun, and they do it big and celebratory, and a lot of whoas and yeahs and hand claps, and it's a party. And I want you to listen to The House That Heaven Built. I cannot hear that song without thinking about my son, because the chorus, he says, "When they love you, and they will, tell them all they love in my shadow. And if they try to slow you down, tell them all to go to hell." That's powerful, and it's direct. And again, like I said earlier about Ollie living in the woods, the way you feel about your kids is the way you should feel about yourself. And if someone tries to slow you down, don't pussyfoot about it. You just tell them to go to hell. Someone stares you down in a friggin' Walgreens when you're just trying to get a Father's Day card? Oof. And finally, if you do need a little folk, country, acoustic stuff, I found it. I've been looking for this record for a long time. We've talked about it before. This is Emmylou Harris, and this record's called Wrecking Ball. It was produced by Daniel Lanois, and you can tell he worked his magic all over this record. And she's Emmylou Harris. Come on. She's one of the few living legends in my lifetime I've had the privilege of seeing. We got to see her play in Madison a few years ago. And I've seen John Prine play, and Robert Earl Keen. But for the most part, a lot of those guys exited my pay grade a long time ago. But check out Emmylou Harris, Wrecking Ball. It's a great record. Listen to Deeper Well by Emmylou Harris. And, quit the music business with me. Quit the industry. I never... When I was 12, I did not fantasize about mortgaging my self-esteem so someone would let me do what I wanted to do. When I was 12, I just made a decision to go and do. So, if you're here, thank you. If you're contributing, thank you. Most people, they need the industry. They need the business to do business. And somehow, every year, I manage to squeak by without the business and the contracts and the other people taking control away from me. And that's because you guys buy my records and pay for the podcast. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I'm going to keep it going. And if they try to slow us down, we'll just tell them all to go to hell. I'll see you next week. Thanks a bunch. Bye.